Hi, and welcome to Remote Learning Lesson 53. Today we'll be constructing a coordinate system on a number line. The LEQ for today's lesson is, how can you create a system on a number line? And today's objective is, I can construct a system on a number line. Before we begin, let's review some key terms. The first key term I'd like to review is origin. The origin is the starting point on a number line, which is 0. In the example, the origin is actually in the middle of the number line, with the negative numbers to the left and the positive numbers to the right of the origin. The second word is coordinates. On graphs, it's a pair of numbers. The first number shows the distance along, which is horizontal, and the second number shows the distance up or down, which is vertical. The example shows different coordinates that you can find. The next key term is vertical number line. A vertical number line is a number line that goes up and down, like this. A horizontal number line is a number line that goes from left to right, like this. Problem number 1. If you notice the number line, it goes from 0 to 10, and then there's spaces in between. Let's fill those spaces in between with whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like so. Now let's look at the questions. The first question is, what is the coordinate for A? So when you look at A, look for the number that's right underneath it. And the number underneath A is 9. So the coordinate for A is 9. What is the coordinate for B? If you look at B, look at the number underneath it and you'll see the number 2. The coordinate for B is 2. What is the coordinate for C? Find C, look at the number underneath it and write it down, which is 5. The coordinate for C is 5. Problem number 2. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to decide what this number line is broken up into. If it goes from 0 to 1, you know you're going to be dealing with fractions. So now you have to decide, am I dealing with halves or fourths or eighths or thirds? If it goes 0 to 1, you're going to count all the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and include the one that's 5. Because it's 5, you're going to deal with fifths. So you're going to have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and the whole would actually say 5/5. Now that you have that written down, let's find the coordinate for each of these letters. The coordinate for D is 1/5. The coordinate for E is 4/5. And the coordinate for F is 3/5. Easy enough. Problem number 2 goes from 0, skip a space, 1, skip a bunch of spaces, and then a 5. So if I focus on between my 0 and my 1, if there's one line, I know that I'm dealing with halves. So put a half there and then fill the rest with halves. So you're going to fill the 1/2, the 1 and 1/2 after the 1, the 2 holes, the 2 and 1/2, the 3 holes, the 3 and 1/2, the 4 holes, and the 4 and 1/2. Once you have those written down, you should be able to find your coordinates relatively easy. The coordinate for G is 1 and 1/2. The coordinate for H is 4 and 1/2, and the coordinate for J is 3 and 1/2. Sometimes you have to look for shapes and find their coordinates. So we're going to do the exact same thing. It goes 0, space 1, space 2, space 3. When there's only one line, you're dealing with halves. So fill in your 1/2s. You have 1/2, 1 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2, 4 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 6 and 1/2, 7 and 1/2, 8 and 1/2, 9 and 1/2, 10 and 1/2, and 11 and 1/2. Once you have that written, what is the star's coordinate? It's 2 and 1/2. What's the triangle's coordinate? 4 holes. And the circle's coordinate is 7 and 1/2. Problem number 5 is an example of a vertical number line. it goes from 0 to 5. And if you notice, pay very special close attention, it goes from down below to up. So it's from 0 through 5 going from down to up. It is actually going in an ascending order. So first you have to find the coordinate for A, which is 1. So the next question is, so A's distance from origin is, if you start at the origin and you move to where A is, it's only one number. So it's going to be 1. So what you'll notice is, if you figure out the coordinate, that's how far it is away from the origin. Because remember, the origin is 0. Problem 6 is a horizontal number line. This one's interesting because it looks like it's going backwards. It goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So you know that between 0 and 1, you're going to have fractions. So because you have two little dots there and then you have the 1, you're dealing with thirds. So let's go ahead and break this up into thirds. Between 0 and 1, you're going to have 1/3 and 2/3. Between 1 and 2, you're going to have 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3. Between 2 and 3, you're going to have 2 and 1/3, 2 and 2/3. Between 3 and 4, you're going to have 3 and 1/3 and 3 and 2/3. And between 4 and 5, you're going to have 4 and 1/3 and 4 and 2/3. And once you have that written, you'll know that B's coordinate is 3 and 1/3. So the distance from the origin is 3 and 1/3. Now it's your turn to complete the problem set and application problem independently. Please complete both and send me a picture. Text me, email me, send me a Remind app, Google Classroom. I can't wait to see your work. I can't wait to see you again. Bye, boys.